Right, that was Golden Earring there, and without further ado, let's move on to an interview I had recently with Mike Scott of the Waterboys. Very good it was too, though I say so myself. Mike, would it be fair to say that the Waterboys are one person, just you?
Well, they were one person, but it's becoming more of a group now. You know, I've had four musicians with me since the start of this year, and as we practice and play more, it becomes more of a unit than just one guy.
Right. Why decide to put these other guys around you? Because I would have thought that if you were in the driving seat and doing everything on your own, that would have been much better for you.
Well, I can't go out and play live if it's just me. I don't want to be a folk singer.
Right.
So I like that big rock and roll noise, so I get the guys beside me.
Okay. I read somewhere that you'd actually put the Waterboys together, and it was actually the band you've been looking for virtually all your life. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess so. We can achieve musically on stage and in the studio the musical dreams that I have in my brain, so I think that the answer is yes.
And did you always want to be a pop star?
No, I don't want to be a pop star now.
Really, what do you want to be then?
I want to be a very serious musician and be taken seriously, and everything I do is dedicated to the cause of excellence in music and furthering art. That's what I'm interested in.
People would say that that's perhaps a very cliched idea of rock music. Do you ever get knocked for it?
No, not really. I mean, any idea that a lot of people have, you could say, is cliched. Really, it's not even like I say, it's just I'm interested in being good. That's much more important to me than selling a lot of records. Of course, I'd like to sell a lot of records, but I'm only really interested in selling records if the records are good and I believe in them. Then I'll be happy, otherwise...
Okay, so it's quite an unusual stance to take, I think, because a lot of pop stars today are actually really into kind of doing the pin-up photo sessions and doing the rounds of the clubs and all that.
Yeah.
So I suppose that kind of thing alienates you, does it?
Yeah, it certainly does. I've had a few pretty horrible photo sessions.
Really?
That kind of thing and me don't agree.
So it's just the music?
It's the music and the attitude, yeah.
Right. Backtracking a little while now, you formed a band called Another Pretty Face some time ago, who had a bit of a cult of a single out called All the Boys Love Carrie. Was that disappointing that it didn't do better? Because a lot of people raved about it at the time.
Oh, well, we were starting off from scratch at that time, and we didn't expect it to do anything at all. So anything that it did do was a wonderful bonus to us.
Right.
So I wasn't really disappointed.
Right.
I was just in love with the whole idea of doing things, and here we were doing things for the first time. It just felt great.
Right. And you also formed your own record label, didn't you, called Chicken Jazz?
Yes.
Was that about the same time?
No, that was a bit later. We had a deal with Virgin Records that evaporated quite promptly. And in order to keep momentum going, we formed our own label to put out our own records. And that was Chicken Jazz. That was in 1980.
Right. Is it difficult to form your own label? I mean, it must create a hell of a lot of work.
It's very hard work. It's quite easy to form a label. All you need is about £600, and we raised that by selling bass guitars and things.
Right.
It's easy to start off, but it's really hard to... All the distribution, you know, you have to go to Rough Trades offices, and go to Bonaparte Records, and go to the Virgin mail order place. All that's really hard work, and it's really difficult to run a record label and run a group. The two jobs are just too much for one human. So now I don't have anything to do with my record label at all.
So it's nice to have a major behind you, is it?
Well, it doesn't really feel like a major because it's Enzyme Records that I have most contact with.
Right.
And that's a really small, informal company. I can walk in the door and sit down and talk to Nigel, the managing director, straight away. And that's really good. So it doesn't really feel like, it's not like CBS.
Great. Okay, Mike, thanks.
All right.